Meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Chikini?
Here.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad? Here. Ms. DeWall Malafite?
Here.
Mr. Giuliano?
Here.
Mr. Nuss?
Here.
Mrs. Stahl is not here. Mrs. Whitty?
Here.
Mrs. Zilberry? Here. Mr. D'Agostino?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Would you please join me in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our apologies, somebody moved the the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Sussex-Wantage Regional School District Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the school building, and notice of said meeting sent to the New Jersey Herald and the Star Ledger.
The Sussex-Wantage Regional School District is a responsive, caring, child-centered community. Our mission is to educate each individual to become a confident, competent, lifelong learner and productive, responsible citizen by providing challenging opportunities in a safe environment through a partnership of families, schools, and communities.
Thank you. At this time, we will move on to the report of the Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you, Mr. D'Agostino. I'd like to invite Mr. Schwartz up to present the students of the month.
Good evening, Mr. Gall, Mr. D'Agostino, members of our Board of Education, and members of our audience this evening. It is with great pride that I stand before you tonight to present the students of the month. Every month I have the pleasure of meeting with each of these individuals. And during these meetings, I am able to gain insight into their hobbies, favorite subjects, and extracurricular activities that they participate in. Each of these students tonight have been highly recommended by their teachers. And as I introduce each student, I will provide a brief snapshot of the wonderful accolades that have helped them earn the Student of the Month. In 6th grade this month, the recipient is Leah Gunther. When I sat with Leah, she told me that her favorite class was social studies. She explained that she has always enjoyed learning about different time periods and historical perspectives. When Leah gets older, she would like to pursue a career as a nurse. She thinks this would be a good fit for her because she takes a genuine liking to helping others around her and is always looking to support others in difficult situations. Leah is looking to be very active in and outside of school this year. She is participating in cross-country, softball, soccer, lacrosse, swimming, basketball, scouts, and maybe even traps. She epitomizes the concept of getting involved here at SMS, and we look forward to all that she accomplishes. Her teacher stated the following: Leah has made a smooth transition to SMS. She is a conscientious learner and is highly motivated to do her very best. She enters the classroom every day with a smile, ready to learn. It is with great pride that I introduce everyone to Leah. In 7th grade this month, the recipient is Trevor Unext. When I sat with Trevor, he told me that his favorite class was social studies. Like Leah, Trevor has always enjoyed the subject matter and the various aspects of history. Trevor stated that he would like to become a scientist or a computer engineer when he gets older. He always has had a strong number sense and would rely on his mathematical prowess to assist him with either of these career paths. Outside of school, Trevor enjoys soccer, gaming, and maintaining various collections that he has. Here at SMS, Trevor will be exploring theater and chorus, as well as some other opportunities that we have available. Trevor's teacher stated the following: 7th grade recommends Trevor Unext as the Student of the Month for September. As a new student to SMS, Trevor has assimilated to his classes very well. He is attentive in class and always on task. He is eager to help his classmates whenever he can. He is extremely polite, making sure to say hello and goodbye and have a nice day to all his teachers. It is with great pride that I introduce Trevor as a 7th grade student. In 8th grade this month, the recipient is Cameron Simonides. When I sat with Cameron, she told me that her favorite class was reading. She indicated that reading allows her to visit another person's life through a story and the characters they create. When asked what career path she might be interested in when she gets older, Cameron indicated that her goal right now is to get on a path that she's able to do something that she loves and still have the freedom in her schedule to enjoy the world around her. Here at SMS, Cameron enjoys socializing with her friends and working on projects in various classes. As she moves on to High Point next year, she looks forward to volleyball and lacrosse as well. Her teacher stated the following: Cameron has started the year out very strong, showing her great work ethic. She's a pleasure to have in class and is a good example to the students around her. We know she will continue to make us proud the rest of the school year with her hard work and good attitude. It is with great pride that I introduce Cameron as the 8th grade student.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. We have one more important presentation today. So it's rare that I come across a person, let alone a Board of Education member, as gracious, kind, and compassionate as our next honoree. Georgiana Stahl has dedicated her life to public service and children. She is the personification of grace under fire while living a life of giving back to her community. Please join me in recognizing Ms. Georgiana Stahl. We can have you up here, Mrs. Stahl. This will be our last board meeting with us. And we're presenting her with a plaque that reads, "You've helped to shape the hearts and minds of so many. Thank you for your years of tireless dedication, love, and devotion towards the students, faculty, staff, and parents of the Sussex-Wantage schools."
Anyone want to say a few words? I do. I just would like to also thank Georgiana for this is 6 years that we've served on the board together. We've been through many different boards, many different personalities. I have to say, and I think everyone would agree, the one constant, the one always a joy on the board has always been Georgiana. She never got into any of the drama, anything like that. She was always focused on the kids and serving her community. And we're going to miss her greatly. And thank you so much for all of your hard work. Yeah, would you like to say anything or?
Oh, I have a letter I wrote.
Okay. She has a speech prepared.
No, I thought I was gonna have to read this under new business.
It's okay. No, you can do it. We wanted to do it now and recognize you
Thank you.
while everybody's here.
So you're lucky you could leave.
I still have some of the rest of the meeting.
Yeah.
Of course you can.
Dear board members and community, this letter is to let you know that sadly, this was my last meeting. Due to the fact that I sold my house to my daughter, and I will no longer live in Sussex-Wantage area. I have enjoyed the last 6 years I served as a board member. I had the chance to work with many members, new and past members, who were all a pleasure to work with, and it was proud to be on board with them. I will truly miss being on board and wish the best for all. I will try as many meetings as I can as a public member, and will help out as you need my help. Thanks again for letting me serve on the board for the 6 wonderful years. Sincerely, Georgiana.
After the meeting, there's going to be a dunk tank in the park.
Georgian, I get 5 balls for free.
Thank you again, Mrs. Stoll.
You're quite welcome. It was an honor.
While we always encourage everyone to stay for the duration of the board meeting, if you wanted to depart, now would be the opportune time. No pressure. So, oh, sorry. Just to update you on a couple of different items, our policy committee meeting was held this past week. The policy chair and I, Mr. D'Agostino, want to get some feedback from students in particular at Sussex Middle School. So we had our administrative staff from Sussex Middle School as well as some student council representatives talk to us specifically about their perceptions on student dress code and cell phone usage. They're two areas that the board and the administration kind of want to look at just to enhance. So we talked through those issues. To give you some background, currently cell phones are permitted before and after school in the auditorium and lunch. They can't be out or visible anywhere at Sussex Middle School at any other time. You know, as is with adolescents and middle school students, we're contemplating what to do with that and whether or not they can, you know, they're following the rules appropriately. So I know Mr. Schwartz and Mr. Skokoza are continually looking at that to see if we need to refine it. Dress code the same, you know, we're paying very close attention to upholding a high standard with that. One piece of very positive news that I want to make everyone aware of is that last year, in the board meetings that we go to, I've talked about something called NJQSAC, which is an auditing process that the state of New Jersey, Department of Education, come into school districts every so many years, and they kind of audit a host of different things, instruction and program, finance, government, operations, personnel. So we had that last year. They came in for a visit, they toured the buildings, they met with central office staff, they looked through all of our paperwork and things like that. And I'm pleased to report for the board's consideration on the agenda is that we received our evaluation scores, and they were rated as high performing. And I can't recall, you know, I've been here, I don't know, 15, 18, I've been here a long time. I don't personally recall a time when we were rated high performing. I know that may sound self-serving, but I genuinely don't. I want to thank everyone, the board, leadership, Mr. D'Agostino, Mrs. Whitty, the other board members, the administration, our faculty, staff, students, parents, and the QSAC team. So we put together a specific team. They want to ask questions of people and things like that. So those folks included Mrs. Riker, Mr. Kronsky, Mrs. Demalakis, Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Gregory, Mr. Petrowski, Mrs. Armstrong, Mrs. Van Warner, everybody in central office. At the building level, the SWIA representatives at the time, Mrs. Ferenfeld, Mrs. Moss, everyone did a really, really good job, and they have my gratitude for that. Also want to thank all the staff who's stepping up. You know, it was a big goal of the board and the district to offer as normal a school year as we could, bring back all of the activities or most of the activities that we normally do, the extracurriculars. So all the people who stepped up and submitted to run those things, we're very appreciative of. And I just want to thank everyone for doing that. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Gall. At this time, we will move on to audience remarks. Members of the audience are invited to make brief comments about items on this agenda and matters of interest to the district. Yes, sir.
You can go ahead.
No, go ahead. You could just, well, yeah, if you could come to the podium and then just state your name and municipality, please.
My name is Ralph Giddens, and I live in Wantage town. And my concern, I just want to state a few facts, and then I want to challenge the board as well as parents about something. So briefly, you know, as you're growing up, you're being told that kids are petri dishes, which we know. Every science teacher will tell you that. And between the school district of the three schools, I can only get facts up to 2020. Apparently, there's approximately 1,049 students enrolled into this district. 35% of that being in Lawrence, 32 in the elementary, and 35 in middle school. Approximately 8.7% of kids in Sussex have asthma. Now, you know where I'm going to get ready to lead this up to. Now, the issue that I'm addressing today is notification. And I experienced the fact that my son, being in Wantage Elementary School, was exposed to COVID-19. I was never notified of this. My son's teacher apparently was out for a week. My son became ill and I became very ill. I became more ill than my son. So, tested myself, I test positive. Tested my son, he tests positive. So he's testing positive, my son is breaking out the fact that, hey, my teacher was out all week. What do you mean your teacher was out all week? How are you telling me this? And yeah, and by the way, there's kids in my class that have been sick. For me finding this out from a 9-year-old is very unacceptable and very unresponsible of the school, the district, and yes, it is not mandated for you to notify anymore about this situation unless it becomes an outbreak or high community levels. Now, in my research, I have found out that Sussex right now, they are going higher. We're at 218 based from September 15th. It has raised, we're in a medium status, so we're in yellow right now. Okay? So, I'm gonna skip a lot of that other stuff. We're not doctors. I'm not a doctor. You guys are not doctors. I just feel like the school, the district needs to be very transparent about what's going on. And I don't feel like they have been. And because the school is not being transparent about what's going on, there's parents that are not being transparent about what's going on. So the fault falls on both sides. So there's parents that are not letting the school know that their kids are positive or sick because they're afraid that they would have to deal with what I had to deal with. My son had to be out for 5 days, and for 5 more days he has to be masked. Big deal, your child has to have a mask on for 5 days in school. What is that going to bother compared to being careful for the next person that might have an underlying cause? And that's the other thing that I would like to address about that is about families didn't get the opportunity. If I would have known that this was going on in my son's school, I would have taken I would have been able to make an educated guess on, okay, do I want him to mask up right now because are there underlying issues with family members? Luckily, my mom doesn't live with us, but she is on kidney dialysis. But if she was been in our house and this occurred, she could have contracted it. So not only did I ask the school board to have the district and the school be transparent about this stuff, I also challenged the parents to let the school know what's going on. Like I said, it goes in both ways. And so I don't keep rambling on. I guess that's basically what I wanted to say. The only thing I'd like to ask, Mr. Gold, is that you had stated that I had asked you a question in our call today. And you know what the question was. I won't make it public unless you want to make it public. But did you find out the answer that I had asked you at the end of our call? And could you also elaborate what happened at this meeting that you had this week?
So I think the question you're referring to is the number of COVID cases.
Yes, in the school.
So I briefly had the opportunity to touch base with some staff around the district that oversees that. I can tell you that the onset of the school year, we averaged approximately 10 to 12 cases in each school for that first week, that second week. This week, leading into Thursday, Wantage School has 1, Lawrence School is reporting 0, Sussex Middle School is reporting 0. That's pretty consistent with what we've seen coming off of things like holiday breaks, translated starting a school year. We see that elevation and now it's tapered off of what's reported to us. And I completely agree with you what's reported to us. My meetings with the nurses, I think Mr. Giddens referring to, was very productive. They have basically been handling cases of COVID on an individual basis. They consult with the families involved and the students involved. They've asked me to put out some correspondence about what the expectation is, so I'm working on that draft and probably put something out in the next day or so regarding some of the things that Mr. Giddens said. At this juncture, I meet with nurses, I meet with the county epidemiologist, and they're all consistent right now in their notion of not supporting contact tracing. I think as a district and myself, like we've been among the consistent conservative approach over the past several years where we implemented, on and off days, Wednesdays were remote, we were doing all the notifications, we were canceled all of our activities. And as time's gone on, my position on COVID has evolved. When we were first hit with it, that first year, I made the decision to close the district before the state of New Jersey did. Because that was the level of concern that you had for this unknown circumstance. You didn't have, whether you support them or not, you didn't have vaccinations available, you didn't have antiviral drugs available, you didn't have treatments. We saw board members who were responsible for hospital facilities being overwhelmed. One of our board members was responsible for organizing the morgue trucks for one of the local hospitals when that unfortunate circumstance happened and they needed more resources for people. So as time went on and we saw that we could operate within that constraint, we lessened those things. We've always taken guidance from the Department of Health very seriously. Sometimes myself, the board made adjustments to that. And I'd encourage your dialogue as Mr. Giddens has too, and board members have any take on those situations. So right now, I don't see us doing contact tracing. I'm not aware of any school in the county, I meet with all the superintendents who's doing that. Notifications on a daily basis as cases come about. We never did that for individual classrooms. We did that as a school. So we would put out a notification that, Wanted School has 3, Lawrence School has 2, those kinds of things. We never identified individual classrooms. I think that was partly aligned with some of our guidance with HIPAA. And as time's gone on, I think we've had a successful run with managing all of that. I don't know how everyone else
Can I just
feels.
respond to that?
Sure.
Because that sounds great. And like I said in my speech.
And I don't wanna discount anyone who's
Okay.
had a negative experience with COVID
Okay,
or lost somebody, that's not what I'm saying.
That's not where I'm going with it either. That sounds great. But as I stated in my statement, transparency. So, I was told there's 35 cases in that school today, 35 active cases in that school. Okay, so someone is not being transparent about whatever they're saying. And I'm not asking you to contact tracing, I'm not asking you to do all this stuff. Something as simple as an email, just like you guys can send an email to notify us about other stuff, a simple email notification saying this school has had these amount. And not only that, one thing I forgot to state, that during the time my son was exposed, he was on the bus. So he exposed everybody on the bus. And who knows how many people were on that bus? So that sounds great, but I was told there's 35 active cases in that school right now, in the elementary school. So you can continue on with, I say no one's being transparent. And until we are back to this situation again, where 3 months from now, we're saying we have to close the schools. I'm not saying change your rules, I'm not saying it, just notify us. Give us the chance to decide for our kids what we want to do. I would have had my son in a mask a week ago before he got sick if I would have known this information.
I'd like to know if you had 35, someone told him 35, I think we need to know who it is.
Yeah, I'm
Because
trying to
there's
think
a
of.
discrepancy right there. And, right, so,
It doesn't matter what they're out for, but you should know. If your kid's teacher isn't gonna be in school for a week, you should at least, as a parent, you should know that. Not why they're out, but if your kid's teacher is not gonna be in school for a week, I have young kids, that could be. My kindergarten told me that she had 3 teachers the other day. I said, oh, that's cool, it was one day, not a big deal, but if the teacher's gonna be out, I don't understand why an email can't go out or communication and just be like, listen, I'm gonna be out for the week. I will be back on such and such date. If you need to get a hold of me, here's my information, or this is the teacher that's going to be, or whatever. So that parents have they're a little more confident in it, but that's just me.
Thank you both. Are there any other public comments?
Well, I have a different subject.
That's fine.
Not with COVID.
Like,
So.
Got the camera going, everybody?
Oh man, I'm camera shy. Alright, my name's Cesar Pafano. I have a daughter in middle school and other kids in the younger grades. So here's my issue. I don't allow my daughter to have TikTok, right? Which is a type of social media. The issue I'm having is that I don't allow her to have it at home, but yet she goes to school and she can jump on her friends. Now, I had an issue today in particular where I go on to TikTok, I log in and I'm watching videos of my kid saying absolutely inappropriate things that shouldn't be played at school at all. And she's dancing to this, she has a skirt on, she twirls. There's things that are being exposed and things that are being said that shouldn't happen at a school, alright? So when I went to school, there's a clear policy, your phone didn't come out. Not for lunch, not during classes, not at all. Now, I feel like kids can go 6 to 8 hours without their cell phones. You're not gonna die from it. Now, put it in your pocket in case of emergency. I understand there's concerned parents that are gonna be worried about, oh, okay, what if something happens? All right, it's in their pocket, it's right there. So if an issue was to occur, they can pull it out and call 911, they can call you, they can contact you. But why do they need it out during lunch? Why can't they just socialize with each other? This is the issue I'm having. And then, every parent's different, everyone parents their child different. I'm a little stricter than some, and I understand that, but if there's something I don't want my daughter to have or something I don't want my daughter to be exposed to at 12 years old, I shouldn't have to worry about her going to school being exposed to this. So that's the feedback I'm getting, and I've talked to other parents and they're like, if I showed you guys the video, everyone would be like, whoa, hold on, this happened at school? She was in the yard out there and these were the words that were said in that video. I think everyone here would be like, whoa, alright, this can't happen anymore. So that's where I'm at. And I would love to see something be done. And I understand you guys are gonna get kickback from other parents, but I think if you could reassure and be like, hey, your kid can still have a phone. It could be in their pocket, it just can't come out throughout school hours. That's where I'm at. I would love to hear some feedback and see what you guys think about it.
I've got an 11-year-old, I've taken her cell phone away probably once a week since she's gotten a phone.
Does that have an effect? Because I'm at the point, I've taken her cell phone away, I've taken her off the cheer team, I didn't even want to do it, I felt horrible. But I was like, I'm out of options. And everyone's like, oh, what would your parents do? Trust me, my parents were not that nice, alright? I had something to fear. I can't do that,
Yeah,
right? I
mine's-
have a daughter, it's a totally different world. It's a touchy subject because I want her to have access to the internet. That's where the world's going. These kids need to know how to use it. But at the same time, they're not ready for it at 11, at 12. Honestly, even at 14, 15, they're not ready for what the internet has. You've gone on sites, you've seen stuff, and you're like, whoa, hold on, I didn't even mean to click that.
Yeah.
Now,
I think at my age, I didn't have one until I got to college. In my own family, I've never seen personally anything good coming from it. And it's really not even a malicious situation. She's not doing anything wrong, but it's a lot of just 24/7 like this.
well, it becomes
Yeah.
addictive to
Yeah.
them. And that's a whole other issue, you got how many kids that can't socialize because they got a screen in front of them. I think we're doing them a disservice at that point. I own a business, I've had younger people work for me, and the first thing they do is whip out their phone.
Yeah.
They're here, and I'm like, I need you to pay attention to what's going on around you. And then, that's a whole other thing that I've tried to explain to my daughter, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of who's around you. But when you have a screen in front of
Yeah.
you,
And I don't know where you're
that's
at.
where your focus is at.
For me and my family personally, I'm all about why does she need this? Cancel it, get rid of it. I'm 24/7 with my job.
I'm 100%
But,
with you. It's
My
her mom
wife will
that
come back
makes
at
it.
me with safety and security. We need to be able to contact her. I made it through without that.
But put a flip phone, like I said, that's a whole other thing.
Flip phone. My daughter's gonna give me a hard time about a flip phone.
You know what? Between my ex and I was because she had to give her a phone. I was like, give her a flip phone. You can text, you can call, what else do you need?
I have
Apparently that's not enough,
computer
so
at home.
she's got a better phone, I guess you could say.
Can I just,
But like I said, I just can't govern it when she comes to school and she has access to other people's phones and other kids that, their parents aren't as strict.
I guess asking parents just, don't send them to school with the phone.
That never happened. I understand the argument you'd have at that point, but just to set more boundaries and more rules to be like, hey, you guys can have your phone in your pocket. Like I got my phone in my pocket right now, but I'm talking to you. All right, and I can go 8 hours. Trust me, I would love to go 8 hours without my phone. But it's the same thing, Have our kids go a period of time without their phones. They're not going to die from it. Like
I agree with
they
you.
might have little withdrawals. Yeah, you might have a couple kids that are going to argue about it. But I mean, for me personally, as a concerned father, that's something I would really, push. And then they don't need it during lunchtime. They need to socialize, especially after COVID, where they were stuck at home for that long. They need to be able to communicate with each other.
At Wantage, we had always had the rule, it's gotta be off and in the book bag.
Yeah.
And we never really had an issue, the kids are younger, so it wasn't a thing, but.
Yeah.
Mr. Gregory, we still have that rule?
I have a question. With regards to just talking about the phones, are the teachers using or asking kids to look up stuff on their phones?
I
in
think
any of the
you
process?
probably have a little bit of that. And that's where, you're trying to educate them about digital citizenship, right? Like there's an appropriate time to do that, access your phone, and then there's not. The question becomes with the administration is as they're monitoring that, is it, where's the balance there and are they so out of line with it that you have to ban it completely?
They have Chromebooks though, right? So what do they?
Well, that's another argument that Mrs. Gall makes when I say just take it away, she doesn't need it. Mike, they have all these apps, she goes on the tablet and she can communicate like texting with her friends,
can I make address his issue and also, because I'm a technology and networking, I own my own technology and network company, have for years. I've been the lead administrator for private schools in dealing with that. When internet first came out, I gave a lesson at my church and at a private school about how you can get your kids to keep them away from certain things. I don't know if you're aware, but right now, most telephone companies, you can call them and say, do not allow them to access the internet between these hours and these hours. And this will stop that, but this also gives them the phone for the security purposes.
Yeah, but here's the issue, and with my daughter's phone, it is cut off. The problem is she comes here, she gets with her buddies. Now, this individual girl, her parents are like, yeah, whatever, you got full access.
Yeah, that's
Now
the
they're
thing.
jumping
Every
like-
parent has to come to that same agreement that they're gonna stop that.
And that's the thing, that's where I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think every parent's gonna be on board. You're gonna get pushed back. So if you could say, hey, have your phone in your pocket, I'm not saying eliminate phones, trust me, I wish I could, but don't eliminate it. But yet, hey, if you pull it out during school, you get, one warning, which is whatever. Second warning, you guys take it away. And then kids will stop taking their phones out. They'll be, okay, while I'm in school, I can't pull out my phone. And that'll eliminate people like my daughter where I don't allow her to have it and have internet access. It's not gonna happen. Because now she can't go to her buddy and be like, hey, whip out your phone, let's do an inappropriate TikTok,
And even with the pocket thing, something we discussed in the meeting was, so the kids have it in their pocket, but then they have to go to the bathroom 5 times every class so they could use their phone in the bathroom, which takes away from instructional time. So one of the suggestions was when you come into class, you put it in like a box.
I was just
Everybody
gonna
puts
say
their phone in a
that,
box.
or we could put it in the front of the classroom on the blackboard.
Yeah, some have had the like the shoe racks on the back of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, like they shouldn't be using them at all during classes, and I know the administration agrees. That I think with lunch, it was like, if they have them during lunch, then they're okay with not having them during class. Me personally, I think they should socialize during lunch, and not be on their phones. But
I think that we've allowed them to have full reign of it for so long, and I think that we're trying to pull back at the last policy meeting that we had, that we're trying to pull back and get it out of the classroom, right? And still allow it beginning of the day, end of the day, while they're waiting for their buses or just coming in, and during lunch. However, there was discussion about lunch also, and I know that's our future goal to eventually get them out of that also. So currently, I believe it's gonna be a process that, you know, because if you're gonna tell these kids no, done, that's not gonna work either. So-
But
so-
like,
so-
if you're
so-
at work, it's the same thing.
I
Your
get it.
boss goes up to you and says, hey, you can't have this no more. Well,
Okay, I get it.
you know what I mean? That's life, to me. I
Right.
mean,
I get
if
it.
my parents told me no, it's a wrap.
I get it, and we're implementing a lot more things, you know, during our lunch periods to give them, hopefully, to entice them to do other things and to be on their phones. But I think eventually that it's gonna be out of the lunch period too, you know?
And I think dialogue like this is really important, hearing from folks like you, the more parents we get that support, you know, we're gonna follow through at
It's-
home, that
I mean, I have a ton that agree with me, whether
It's
they're
very
willing to take the time to get here,
Yeah.
you know?
It's very encouraging to hear from the parent in that direction, because generally speaking, it's the opposite
This-
direction.
The specific video he's talking about wasn't even during lunch, it must have been during gym, because they were outside. And he mentioned to me on the way here, it's that you can have somebody that drives by and sees all these kids, pedophiles, whatever they are. See these kids outside, oh, that one's shaking, you know, whatever, on a video. And then the next day, they can find that video easily, see the location, come back the next day, sit there in their car, take out a camera and snap another video of these kids.
Well,
There-
I am hoping to clear it up. One of those things that we're doing during lunch to entice them to do other things is to let them go outside after they're done with their lunches. So hopefully it was during lunch and not gym. I know that our vice principal is trying to keep really good tabs on this. So it could have very easily been during lunch,
Okay,
and at least, at minimum, I hope it was,
yeah.
you know. But that was one of the things that we're talking about doing, that we've been doing, is that we're having the kids go outside. Any days that they can go outside, they're going outside after lunch. And days when it's, you know, the weather is not as inclement, so that they can't go outside, we're starting to implement new things that they can do inside. So that when they're done eating, hopefully the socialization will occur during that time without the phones. I think that it has to be, I would have loved to have done it right now. You know, but
I'm with you.
I
Maybe we'll see what the rest of the
Yeah.
And
I
if we-
went to back to school night last night, and there was actually a teacher who said to me, I said, well, why can't they keep them separate, or like in a shoe thing, because now we're noticing that some kids are wanting to go to the bathroom more, right?
Yes.
And there was a teacher that's concerned about having somebody else's expensive phone sitting someplace waiting, because I said, why don't you have them leave the phones in the classroom when they leave, or have them set them down on the desk? And the teacher was a little concerned about having them leave it there in case something happened to it while they were gone, but I think that fear needs to disappear, because I think that's
The fear of the
fear to
child
leave
is
the phone.
more important than the fear of the phone.
I think too, if we can connect this and you can turn out some of your friends and families to come out. We haven't publicized it yet because we're just coordinating it, but we're gonna have the New Jersey State Police come out, do presentations for the communities and the kids about all of the things associated with cell phones. And you know, I think too, you know, work in multiple places, and I spent my career in education, they don't understand the permanency of you put any kind of inappropriate video or message out there, it's there forever, and it's, you know, by the time mom and dad have heard about it, it's been transmitted to 100,000 different people, you know?
Yeah, once it's on the internet, I
Yeah.
mean, you're letting everyone from the outside in on it. And I try to explain it to my daughter, and I mean, we're at like the 5th time with this whole TikTok thing, and she just keeps finding ways around it.
Yeah,
And now it just keeps coming back that it's happening at school.
yeah.
And
And I
that's
think
what landed me here.
I
you know?
think too, the culture that they're growing up with is they want the notoriety. They want whatever we're calling them, likes, hits.
Yeah.
You know, I saw on the news, you know, I grew up down below, and somebody named, if I have it accurate, Mr. Beast opened up some kind of burger place in the American Dream Mall. And I was like, who's Mr. Beast? And I looked him up, and it's like some kid who makes, you know, Vines or TikToks or whatever, and he generated, I think, $45 million last year.
That's crazy.
So, they're immersed in this culture where getting more likes is a good thing,
I understand the world's going that way and it's something that they need, I just don't think they need it.
I'm not even saying they need it, I'm saying that's just what it is,
What is the rest of the board, I mean, I'm assuming, and tell me if I'm wrong, that we don't think they should be used during class, but what about so they use them when they get there in the morning and then dismissal, what about lunch?
I don't think they need lunch.
No.
I think
Maybe dismissal, that's when I was allowed to use it, like when you walked out to your bus, that is when you could pull your phone out. That was it. You were on the bus, you could pull your phone out, but when you walked into school, you put your phone in your pocket, you put it in your backpack, you put it in your purse, and you put on vibrate the whole day, you could not pull it out.
Yeah, and I know,
That's how we were.
Mrs.
You
Shores,
should pull it out.
and
And ours
Mr.
got
Stone
confiscated,
does
but taken away, yeah.
I have been reflecting on that very issue, so I'll touch base with her tomorrow.
You guys?
So the only thing I have to say to
Absolutely
that
great on lunch.
is if I do not agree with teachers physically taking the phone from a kid. If you're gonna do it, because then it leaves the staff responsible if something happens. If you're gonna take it, or you have to have like some kind of protocol. If the teacher wants to take the phone, not physically take it, send the kids somewhere to the office with them. Because I had, like when Ella was here,
We had an
you know,
issue
we
with
had
this, so I
issues.
brought that up.
You had that too.
Well, I remember yours, yeah.
If God forbid it breaks or they drop it, where is the phone? So there's that, I don't think they should have it at lunch. I don't think teachers should physically take it away. I think there should be a policy or
I had suggested that they put the phone on their desk when they go to the bathroom, because we had spoke about that in the meeting and that we don't want them to be out of the classroom because they feel the need to use their phone and
The
use the
question
bathroom
that
for
you
these
have though,
kids.
does every student carry their phone with them all the time? So how do you know if a student said, I
Right.
don't have it?
Right, because the
Interrupted class.
teacher will say, the child will say, oh, I don't have my phone today,
Yeah,
So,
they're not gonna search them though, see if they actually have it.
no, of course not, of
So
course
that's-
not.
I think you're gonna reinforce the disciplinary action when
Yeah.
those infractions occur.
And how many HIV cases have we, over the years, had to deal with that
A lot.
have to do with cell phones and stuff going on? And, I mean, I can't tell you how many.
A lot,
I
a
know.
lot. But I do feel that it's a process, and I do feel that it's definitely been a hot topic. And I'm not gonna put Mrs. Caruza on the spot here, but I do, am I describing it right to say that, it's a process where I think that, again,
Yeah, we're not paying you lip service, I mean,
They
we've
had
been
a-
taking it,
Yeah.
we're looking very hard, she was on this, I don't know.
and I
Since
have
the
an eighth
summer.
grader, so,
So you know,
Oh,
you know,
yes, sir.
you know where your head
Yes,
goes.
sir. Eighth grader, and that's the youngest of the group, so, yeah, been there, done that. But
That's why she's great.
yeah. So it's gotten worse as the years
Yeah.
gone on with all of them. Definitely one, but
We go way back.
I would love to shock them and say no cell phones in school, but I don't know if it's capable
I don't think
on
we
an
say
emotional
not have it in
level
school.
of doing that in
Not
middle
have
school.
it now.
I think, I honestly think the kids,
It's not
I think the kids think they have a lot of control, and I think they feel like they're very entitled. Like, they don't understand a cell phone is a privilege, it's not a necessity, it's a privilege.
You're
And
right.
I think as parents and staff and teachers and administrators, like, it's our time to take control back, because these kids are just gonna walk all over everybody, cause they know I'm gonna get away with it.
Do either of you guys live in Sussex? Because
No,
we have a
we're in
board position
Wantage.
open.
We're in Wantage.
Well, I think it's very, very
I've
nice.
been trying to get you to come back to work too, so
Well,
like,
tell
I
this
can't
man
be on
over
the
here.
floor.
I have too many kids to take care of.
5 kids, own a farm, run a business, that's enough.
It's very nice, and I feel very much encouraged to hear that parents are on how we would like it to be.
Yeah,
Of course.
Because a couple of years ago, honestly, it was turned the other way. the parents were like, oh no, my kids need to have it here, blah, 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 you don't touch my phone.
You know what it
Well,
is?
that's why I'm not against kids having it in their pocket and in their protection. Like, it'll settle those parents that go, hey, my child has to have it. Okay, your kid can have it. In case something happens, they pull it out. But other than that, what do you need a phone?
Unfortunately,
mean?
we do have parents that will say, well, my child needs to be able to get in touch with me.
They can go to the front
Yeah,
office, there's a
we
phone there.
just-
You
we
can
just
go to the front
They
office.
forget, they
Go to the front
forget
office.
about that.
We just experienced that this
forget
morning,
about
they're kids, like kids be kids, like when we were in school, if I had an issue, I had to call my mom through the office. I had to call my mom from the nurse, that was it, it was never an issue but now it seems to be, and the parents are putting it in the kids' heads that you need to have it, you need to have it, you need to have it.
Right, so
It's
that's
just
not helping
frustrating,
us.
sorry.
Well, I think the whole board, all 9 of us had unanimously agreed that it shouldn't be in classrooms, it shouldn't be in lunch. So we'll have to work on a policy to reflect that and
We're always working on the policy. We're always working on the policy.
There
I feel as though
actually-
we're changing it all the time.
Yeah,
trying
and I
to-
believe there's actually no cell phone actual policy.
There is no actual
Right, yeah.
policy, but there's wording in the handbook that hasn't actually been changed for this year. But suppose having that 8th grader, I know that word is out. Word is out that there's no more cell phones in the classrooms and,
And we
he
gotta
has
make
made
sure
it very
teachers
clear.
aren't using, requesting it too.
Yeah.
I mean, that, like, if they have the Chromebooks, there's no reason why.
There is one subject area that teacher may ask the child if they have their own phone to be able to use it for that one subject matter. And
What subject matter is that?
I don't remember, but with that, we're looking into, I don't know if it's a whitelist, I heard somebody maybe refer to it as a whitelist. But what we can do is there's, on our Chromebooks, there are sites that obviously they can't get to. So the sites that the subject is using to get onto that, we're checking into the technology department to see if we can find a site that would make it so that they wouldn't have to use their phone, period, for that subject. You know what I mean? Like we wanna,
Why are they even using their phone for that? They should be using, it's another school that I deal with that I get a notification anytime a child goes somewhere that they shouldn't be. At the beginning of the school year, I think I've gotten 4 so far. And I immediately call the principal, what's going on with this or that. And I know what's going on because they happen to be teaching the class, and if they word something wrong, I get a notification. Your IT department should be able to, you're correct by saying whitelist. They should be able to put that site on their approved list,
right,
and the kids can get to it.
Right.
So they shouldn't have to
Right.
use that phone.
right, and we
You're
were
giving
only,
them, you're saying, no, you can't use it, but then you're saying use it for class.
right,
That's contradictory.
and we were
Just to reinforce,
we
we
were
have
only
that
made aware-
capability,
right.
Mr. Cron, we have that.
And we were only made aware of this, the administrators were only made aware of this 4 days ago, Monday maybe. So that is being taken care of. And at this point, there's no more cell phone in that class until, there's no more cell phone in that class. And they just won't have that site until it's cleared through our IT department.
And the Chromebooks have Go Guardian on them, right?
That's
Yes.
correct.
They do, okay.
yeah, I mean, this is a totally different world. I mean, I had
So,
a flip phone, you could text on it, which is distracting enough. Now there's TikTok, Instagram, like kids are literally cyberbullying each other in the middle of class,
Yeah.
and when you're with your friends, you become more ballsy because they're back behind you telling you to do something. You're like, well, I have my friends backing me up.
Oh yeah,
And
my
it's-
daughter literally said, she was like, oh, but all my friends are doing it. I'm like, you're getting peer pressured into dancing in front of a screen. Like, yeah, I have a freaking problem with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, for me, I think your kid goes to school to learn and be educated, not to freaking do TikToks. I would rather her, I don't know, get in a food fight and get in trouble than get in trouble for freaking
That's
TikTok.
old school trouble.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I understand. I went through that. Like, you didn't catch me dancing in front of the screen.
I don't know if that'd be a pretty sight.
That's what I'm saying. These are like the concerns and issues that come up, and if you guys could just eliminate it for lunch, I think that's a huge step. and then eliminate it where, hey, when you're inside the school, you can't pull it out.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that would be ideal.
I'm
And,
fine with that.
you know,
How's everyone else feel?
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks, Will.
Administration's got that covered.
that's easy.
Trying to keep you out of it there, but
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
no,
Thank you.
thank you guys for listening.
Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, we will move on to the board secretary certification, please.
Pursuant to NJAC 6A 23A-16.10C3, I certify that as of August 31st, 2022, no line item account has encumbrances and expenditures which in total exceed the line item appropriation in violation of NJAC 6A 23A-16.10A.
Thank you. At this time, we will move on to the approval of board minutes for August 25th, 2022, regular and executive session. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Nuss. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Stahl. Any discussion on the approval of board minutes? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Nuss?
Sure.
Mrs. Stahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad?
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafite?
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano?
Abstain.
Mrs. Whitty?
yes,
Mrs. O'Barry? Mr. D'Agostino?
Yes.
Minutes are approved.
And at this time, we are going to go into executive session on agenda items. How long do you think?
Listen, I can go 15 minutes,
That's
but
it.
you see, you know, I'd say 40 minutes approximately.
Really?
That's a big jump, 15 to 40.
I'm just trying to make an accurate prediction.
So somewhere between 15 and 40. Can I get a resolution, please, Mrs. Jordan?
Whereas pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12B, the Sussex-Wantage Regional Board of Education may exclude the public from that portion of a public meeting at which the board discusses any of the matters described in NJSA 10-4-12B 1-9. Now therefore be it resolved that the Sussex-Wantage Regional Board of Education shall enter into closed session to discuss personnel matters, legal matters, and student matters. Now therefore be it further resolved by the Sussex-Wantage Regional Board of Education that pursuant to NJSA 10-4-13B, the time when and the circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public is when the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
Thank you. I'm looking for a
I'll
motion.
make it.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Ready?
questions, so we will move on to the presentation of agenda items.
Under personnel, I'd like to move items 1 through 16.
Looking for a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Alright, roll call please.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry. Yes. Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under policy, I'd like to move items 1 through 3.
Thank you, Mr. Stahl, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad. Yes. Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mr. Nuss. Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry. Yes. Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under finance, I'd like to move items 1 through 14.
Looking for a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad. Yes. Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry. Yes. Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under special services, I'd like to move items 1 and 2.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry.
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And under curriculum, I'd like to move item number 1.
Looking for a motion?
Motion. I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on curriculum?
Just on the second page, there's 2 blanks, I'm guessing it's because we don't know dates and names yet. For the cross country.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Any other discussion on curriculum? Roll call please.
Mrs. Solberry.
Yes.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'm referring to the addendum under personnel, I'd like to move items 1 through 8.
Looking for a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on personnel on the addendum? Alright, roll call please.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry. Yes. Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under policy, I'd like to move items 1 through 3.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad.
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry. Yes. Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under special services, I'd like to move items 1 and 2.
Looking for a motion?
I'll make the
Thank you. Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad.
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry.
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And under curriculum, I'd like to move item number 1.
I'll motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call please.
Mrs. Stahl.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper Trinidad.
Yes.
Mrs. Chikini.
Yes.
Ms. Wall Malafay.
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano.
Yes.
Mr. Nuss.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitty.
Yes.
Mrs. Solberry.
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
Yes.
Motion carries.
At this time, we will move on to unfinished business. Does anyone have any unfinished business?
Oh. I'm just not even gonna ask the question, but I'll look at Christina.
Oh, you're asking me,
We don't have any update.
is the question,
We're
is
gonna
there an
play
update on unemployment?
200 points, yes.
The answer is there is not.
Okay. And how are we doing with CNN being out of our
Good.
school?
I can vouch for eighth grade good.
I can say that in the last analysis of the computer system, there's nobody access to my knowledge CNN 10.
And everyone knows not to use it on their, on YouTube,
Cell phone.
cell phones, loading it.
That's my understanding.
Okay. Checking back, thank you.
Alright, is there any other unfinished business? Seeing none, we will move on to new business. Is there any new business that we would like to discuss? Yeah, I know.
That's why I had to let her plan on doing it myself. She's surprised me.
Well, on Mrs. Stahl's note, in new business, I would like to make a motion to accept with regret the resignation of Georgiana Stahl effective September 22nd, 2022. Can I get a motion, please?
I would recommend you make it effective tomorrow, so it doesn't invalidate
you're
her
right. Okay.
motions today.
So we'll accept with regret the resignation of Georgiana Stahl effective September 23rd, 2022.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
You're free.
Any discussion? Alright, roll call please.
Mr. Nuss,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper Trinidad,
Yes.
Ms. Chikini,
Yes.
Ms. Malfoy,
Yes.
Mr. Giuliano,
Yes.
Mrs. Stahl, Ms.
Yeah.
Whitty,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Barry,
Yes.
Mr. D'Agostino.
No.
Unfortunately.
I know.
Are you really voting no?
Yes, I'm gonna vote
Okay.
no.
Motion carries.
It still carries, so it's okay. But thank you again, Georgiana. And can we give her one more round of applause? 6 years, I know it felt like 60, but.
Not more. I enjoyed it.
Thank you again. Alright, if there's no other new business, we'll move on to audience remarks. Members of the audience are invited to make brief comments about items on this agenda and matters of interest to the district. Seeing none, we have no need for a second executive session, so I will look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Whoa.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, thank you all for coming.